Okay, so hi everybody, it's Ann here, and Randy's joined me, and it looks like we've got at least one other person on the call, and if others pop in, we love to talk to you all. I didn't actually have a whole a topic set up for today because I actually wanted to do more of a check-in with people and see how they're doing and what they're doing to stay healthy and happy. And it seems the more we move through this thing, the more stressed people are feeling. And I'm quite sensitive to other people's energy, and so I'm feeling the stress that other people are feeling. And so that's one of the reasons to have these little get-togethers at least once a week, just so that we can sort of support each other and offer whatever new things that we've learned. And I was just sharing with Randy that I just got word, and I did see this come across my Facebook feed. For those of you who follow me on Facebook or get my stuff, I posted a little 2-minute video that came across my feed that I thought was fairly good information and just some tips on, watching for symptoms and what it is and what it isn't. And in addition to that, some good things that you can do for yourself. And Facebook decided there was something in there that it didn't like, so it basically shut it down. So that little video has disappeared. And Randy and I were just also discussing that, there's so much misinformation flying around and rumors and all that kind of stuff. So we have to get really good at figuring out what's true and what's not true. And I don't know, you got any tips on that, Randy? How do you go about it?
Well, like you mentioned, the people are stressed, and I sort of feel, I don't know, I must be something wrong with me, because I have got no, I'm concerned about the economy. I'm concerned about the people that get sick and stuff like that, but I have absolutely no fear whatever.
Yeah.
And so, the government is giving us the rules to follow, and they will tend to actually over-respond a little bit. So there's a safety margin there. And then we do what we can to be healthy. Like, what more can you do? Like, you follow, it's almost like following the law, actually.
Well, and I think it is. Like, if you are not where you're supposed to be, they're going to start finding people and stuff. So, as I said, I am sensitive to other people's energy. And so I do a little check-in. I can do a little check-in and say, okay, is this me? Is this my stuff that I'm feeling? Or is it somebody else's? And it's usually somebody else's. Mm-hmm. So if that's happening for me, there may be some people out there that are quite sensitive to all of other people's energies and may not even know it. Right. They may not be aware that what they're feeling is not even their own stuff.
Right. Yeah. And I won't name names, but I know specific Sunriders who are very sensitive.
Yeah. And so, and I mean, I have people in my family, same thing. They, I'll just ask them, okay, is that what you're really feeling, or you're just worried about something? It's a complicated thing. And then the other thing is we have to turn our TVs off. I actually, about 3 or 4 days ago, I was feeling terrible, and the TV was on in the living room or in the family room and stuff, and I don't know what I was doing. I finally went into there and turned it off, and within a minute, I felt.
Really? That's great.
So try that. For those of you that are feeling stressed, turn off the TV, even if you're not really listening to it, because it's sending out like.
Right. Yeah.
It's
That's
just
really good idea. I actually don't listen to TV.
Yeah.
I scan, like I'm subscribed to CBC News on my phone.
Okay.
Look at the headlines
and that's really all you need. Check in once a day or twice a day, just to find out what you need to know, and really leave the rest. But okay, so Randy, I had invited you to join us today because I did have a request last week from someone who wanted a little bit more clarity on the vitality analysis. And what I didn't do, would it be helpful for you if I actually showed like a report, or what would you like to share with us about the vitality analysis?
Well, we can look at a report maybe. I would just say a few words first about it.
You go ahead while I look for it then, okay.
So vitality analysis is not directly associated with Sunrider.
Right.
Like it's a private thing that we do. There's a number of people across North America who use the service. And in a perfect world, we wouldn't need vitality analysis. The philosophy of Sunrider is that if you feed your body with the proper combination of whole life foods, that it will take care of itself. And we take responsibility for ourselves by kind of by responding to our body. Like if it says that we like this, you eat that. If you have a reaction against it, don't. But it seems that it's not a perfect world, and we're not all absolutely tuned in the way maybe we could into our bodies. Actually, I don't know anybody that's perfectly tuned in. But so people either want more benefits from the Sunrider foods, they want to deal with a specific problem, and so they'll want to know what to add. You know, what aren't I eating in the Sunrider products that I should be?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people are just surprised.
Yeah.
Because the foods, each product is incredibly complicated. We know that each food, each product has 5 to 10, 20 different herbs in it. And so it's doing things that you might not even know about necessarily. Or it will do things to your body which you might not suspect. So that's the one aspect. The other aspect is people want to know what they shouldn't be eating. And so that gets into the food testing. Like, what am I eating or what am I doing with my life that's interfering with my health and that's slowing down the good effects of the Sunrider foods? And
Right.
so that's the reason why we do that. And it's been going now for 30 plus years, 31, I guess, years now. And we've never advertised. It's just always been word of mouth. Maybe, hey, you know, I got a test and I feel better because of it, or what, you know, that kind of thing. And we've ended up doing it's about 700,000 tests on people throughout the years.
Wow.
Those are individual tests because
Okay. Yeah.
we average 5,200, you know, tests per person, and
Okay.
and that's all done kind of manually. It's all been put through somebody's consciousness, you might say,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's not just a machine spitting out a number. And we would like people to use the suggestions, and we call it suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a diagnosis or anything like that. We'd like people to use the suggestions to actually get in tune with their bodies. You know, that's ultimately, you know, because you might have been feeling, oh, I shouldn't be eating this. And then if you see it on paper, oh, that's -500 or negative. Oh, really? Yeah, I'm right. You know, I was right in that.
Confirmation.
If you're feeling attracted towards a certain food and it recommends that,
Mm-hmm.
then you're training yourself to get a little bit more in tune. And ultimately, you know, in the perfect world, we would just look at a food and we know it's good for us.
Right. So, all right, well, great. Thank you for that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the document. I guess maybe what I'll do is just share my screen. Oh, there's the vitality analysis. No, where's the form? Just a sec here, share that. And can you see this now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Randy, I'll let you. Now, I've noticed that this first page on the left, see, when it comes to me for people, that I think that's coming as the last page now.
Yeah. That you're getting that as the first page.
No, I'm not. This is how it was
So,
saved on my computer from quite some time ago, but I noticed that this page is at the end of the report now, not at the beginning.
yeah, the first page is the one with big vitality analysis on it.
Right, yeah. Let's see if I can just do one page here. Why do I have it set up like that? Page view. Full screen. One page, here we go. There, that'll make it better.
Oh,
Okay, so, and now we want to go to the next page. Where's my mover? I'm not used to doing this, obviously, on.
there you go. You went down and it worked.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yes. All right. So one of the first questions I often get when people get this is about this whole body vitality. So do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, and it's worth talking about because it's the basis to everything, every other measurement later on in the test. And so the vitality analysis uses we'll call it a biocomputer by somebody who's been doing this for 30 plus years to tune into your the frequency of your body and come up with a number of your unique, we call it vitality. Okay, so you have a certain vitality of your body, and this vitality, this overall vitality, is the sum of everything that's going on in your life. It's all the good things, all the good foods you're eating, all the bad things that you're being exposed to, all the bad things that you're eating, all the stress in your life, and you end up with a number. And so for most people, particularly when they start, they're using up all the energy that's available. So most people, when they start, end up with a vitality of about it's 100. Now, these numbers are kind of arbitrary, but they're all relative to each other. So they're accurate compared to each other, kind of thing.
Okay.
And so this person with the vitality of 100, they might be running 10,000 units of energy in their body, but they're using up 9,900. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's the number. And then every other test is whether a food or a system or a part of the body or a Sunrider food either increases that overall vitality or decreases that overall vitality. Now, vitality analysis could test, oh, what's the vitality of your big toe? Or what's the vitality of the third layer of your skin? But that wouldn't be very holistic, and it would be very complicated and end up expensive. So that whole body vitality is kind of a holistic number. It's your wholeness, and whatever degree is increasing or decreasing that. And so most people start off with 100 and 200. We give a peak vitality on a good day, a good hour, you're feeling better, so your vitality goes up.
Right.
And we say, well, if you're 200 for an hour or a good day, you should be able to, it would be reasonable to make that constant so that every day you're at 200. And so that's the goal. Like if your vitality was 100 with peak of 200, a reasonable goal would be to raise your vitality to 200 with peaks of 400 or 500. And
Right.
that's what we see a lot. If people follow the suggestions, they will increase their vitality, which is the most important number, and also their peak. Now, and just to give you an example, there are Sunriders who eat a lot of Sunrider and they're doing lots of good things, and they're running in the thousands, like 4,000 or
Yeah.
5,000. So,
Yeah.
you know,
That's when I have people do this for the first time. I think you explained it much better than I. But what the term that I use is that is kind of a sliding scale. You know,
right.
when they're starting out, those numbers can look pretty low, but as they make improvements, everything expands.
Well, yeah, actually, like the first number, if it's your very first time, it has no value at all.
Okay.
100. It's got,
Okay.
well, you've got nothing to compare it with it. It
Right.
turns out all the other numbers are related to that, but it's as I said, yeah, it only, the number has value later on when you start
Right.
seeing it in.
Okay. And then, do you have anything you'd like to offer? Well, that's the little table at the bottom of that page is basically information about,
Right.
what would you say about that?
Well, so we said that number of vitality is all the good things in your life, all the bad things in your life. Okay. Now we're going to start testing some of the bad things.
Okay.
And that's what the inhibitors are. What things, let's assume this person with 100 vitality, just for the sake of an example, was actually running at 9,900. There's 9,900. Somewhere they're losing,
Right.
they're losing over 9,000 units of energy. And so we're going to start testing that. And that's the whole second page. Test, you know, we start pointing fingers. Oh, you should look at this. You should look at that.
Right.
And the first section we look at is toxicity. We live in a toxic world. Sorry, there's nothing we can do about that. And most people actually have what's measured as high toxicity. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that you've got a lot of toxicity in your body, but whatever's there is affecting you to a high degree. It's lowering your vitality quite a bit. So the best people do is medium. You know, if their whole body toxicity is medium, you're doing pretty good compared to everyone else. Because most people are actually getting highs. And then that second section on that page, we start testing which are the bottlenecks, which are the weakest points in your body that's draining your vitality. And that'll be one of the systems. And there's always, you know, nobody has systems that are all perfectly balanced. There'll always be a weak system, and those will come up as high numbers, maybe 5 or 6 or 700. And if you see those big numbers, you go, oh, well, I better look at that in my life.
Right.
Now, later on, the analysis will recommend foods probably related to that, or we'll understand them, but it will be measuring foods that will help that area probably.
Right.
But you also know other things that you might do for yourself. You know, if you have high toxicity in your body, or your eliminative organs are, that's a high number, which they usually are. You know, well, what do? We drink more water. We exercise a little bit more. Things like that. We all know things. Now, with vitality analysis, we can't test everything. So we've decided to keep it almost exclusively with things that are coming into your mouth.
Okay.
But, everyone will know little things that they can do. Mm-hmm. And the example I use often, like, stress is a big thing. So it's your nervous system, everything, the old cliche, take a bubble bath or whatever, that.
Right. Yeah.
Or meditate if you want to get more.
Yeah. Yeah. And stress is such a big one right now. I see that I've chosen, for our example today, I think I've chosen an old form, because the new ones the ones that you are coming out now actually have a comparison on this section, the D. Maybe we'll finish on here, and when we're done, I will see if I can.
I'll just say some people don't want that section.
Oh, okay.
Because it makes it a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
And so some people ask that we take that out.
Okay. Okay. So maybe I've got a new one. Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't realize that. Okay, great.
And so, in simplest terms, what do you think it's pointing at? It's pointing at some system, and we're just alerting you to that.
Yeah.
And as I said, the recommended foods will probably take care of that, but you might know something yourself. Yeah. And then the bottom section is specific inhibitors. And, and these are things that a lot of people have in their awareness, like candida or food sensitivities. And again, we're just saying, okay, that is a concern or it's not a concern. If you get a high reading on food sensitivities, then it'd be reasonable to get a food test.
Right.
But if you got low or zero, well, save your money kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of people are concerned about, I'll just say I'm a little bit surprised how infrequently heavy metals and candida and parasites.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of people have that in their awareness,
Whoops. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And if you're not testing, you go, oh, maybe I have heavy metal poisoning. And so if that's not a medium or high, well, you can calm down about that. I just remembered something that it's a saying I read, and then I'm trying to apply to vitality analysis. Don't guess, test.
Yeah.
There you go. Because if you're worried about something, that's not good for you.
Right. Like, it's more stress.
Yeah, it's more stress. So either you eliminate that particular fear. Okay, it's not heavy metals, but if it is heavy metals, then you take action, and then as soon as you take action, then the stress again lowers. Once you're on a plan. Yeah.
Exactly. We can, if we have time, I've got a food sensitivity sample. You can briefly talk about that too. But before we go there, we'll go to this page here. So this is where you come up with suggestions of the Sunrider products that will assist a person. And so I'll let you explain what this all means here.
Well, this is actually one of the main reasons
that most people do it. Yeah. Or at least that's what I recommend people do, especially now with the Health Canada recommendations on the bottles. This gives people a custom program, and they don't have to worry about those funny recommendations.
And we set this up. In my mind, I'm cheap or whatever. I want people to spend the least amount and get the most effect. Right. And so, you could, well, like we know, for example, you've probably even talked about it, the kind of programs that Colleen C puts people on,
mm-hmm.
like mega doses of everything. If you eat like mega doses of everything, you're going to get pretty good results, but most people just can't afford that.
Right.
So we were looking at what are the minimum amounts, and everything you see here is kind of like minimum amounts if you want to increase them. And so we looked at what are the foods that are most important for your body right now, because when we first started, there was only, there was just quinine and Nuplus and Calgary. And so that was pretty easy. But now we've got so many good foods, and then the people eat a little bit and they go, wow, I like this. I want to, want some more. We've got so many foods that it's worth figuring out which are the best ones. And so we've set it up so that there will be a priority, or the most important food in the nourishing category. There will be a priority in the cleansing category, and then there will be a priority, and there's usually 2 or 3 or 4 in the balancing category.
Mhm.
And so if there's a single check, that's good for you, you're probably already eating it. But if it's a triple check, that's a priority. And if you want to do the absolute minimum cost for the most effect, you eat small quantities of all the priorities.
Right.
And sometimes if you're just really, really, on the edge of your finances, you would talk with your sponsor or myself, and we might even be able to eliminate 1 or so of those priorities.
Well, my comment on that is that the recommendations in each of those, as you say, are pretty small. They're pretty minimal, and I I I seem to recall you mentioning in another conversation you and I had that the magic of this is in that the combinations of those priority
Right, yeah.
products. It's that combination that is really strong for you, for the
Right.
person, right? Would that,
Yeah.
did I get
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah,
So,
that's how we set it up.
yeah, yeah. So just doing small amounts, but
Mhm.
of that combination can be a very powerful improvement for a person.
And I'll just make this point. Once you know that you're on a good program, then you can relax.
Hmm.
When you're relaxed, you can feel your body more. You can actually feel the benefits more.
Yeah,
As opposed to if you're always wondering, if you're always just wondering about things, doubt is not a useful feeling
yeah.
to move ahead in life, let's say.
That's so true. That's so true. So I think, okay, so then the last page we have here is recommendations, uh, general recommendations.
Right.
And you
Right.
have anything to offer here, Randy?
Well, it's just that, there's so many diets now, you're supposed to eat so much fat or so much protein or so much this, so much that. And so we test if you should be eating less carbohydrates. I can safely say that for almost everyone listening to this, probably you can lower your carbohydrate intake. I'm
Mhm.
not saying keto or anything like that, but
Yeah.
almost everyone is recommended to lower their carbohydrate. But some people, a lot of people, I would say, a fair amount of people are probably eating the right amount of protein,
Mm.
and or maybe they need to. Well, yeah, it just varies. But it's good to know if you should have more protein or less, because we've heard of all those diets,
Yeah.
and then most people are not getting enough essential fatty acids. This is not just fat. This is essential fatty acids.
The good ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the fish oils and avocados and flax
Mhm.
and all those good oils. Just a very quick word on carbohydrates, Randy. I uh, nobody seems to differentiate between the simple carbs and the complex carbs, because
Um,
the simple carbs are the sugars
right. Yeah.
and the starches. The complex carbs are the ones that take your body more time to burn,
Right. Yeah.
longer burn, that kind of thing. We do need the complex carbohydrates. We don't
Yeah.
need the
And
simple.
and that's what we say right on the forum.
Yeah, yeah,
Start by eliminating simple ones.
yeah. But
And
just in the general, the media
yeah.
and everything, nobody ever makes that differentiation.
Yeah. 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 And that's just silly, because
Yeah,
there's a huge difference.
yeah, yeah. I wish there was some education out there that would talk about that. But
Sunriders talk about
what's
that.
that?
Sunriders talk about that a lot.
Yes, we do. We do. We do. Okay, so now I'm going to very quickly put up, I'm going to get rid of that other document. And I'll put this one up. Oh, that made it really big.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so you mentioned briefly that if food sensitivities were an issue, a person could get a food sensitivity test done. This form that I have in front of you, I wonder if I can make it smaller so it's easier to see. View page, single page. Single page. I guess I just have to do it this way. You're going to see the back of my desktop, but oh well.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, this is a personalized one too.
This, what's that?
This one here you've got up is the personalized extensive food. So if people want on the lower right,
Oh, okay.
we test about 140 foods or whatever.
Right.
And then you've got spaces to write in things that you're particularly interested in.
Okay. Now, I didn't put one up that you actually had filled out, but what would appear in here for a person who had the test done would be numbers.
Yeah.
And they will be usually, there will be some that are negative numbers and some that are positive numbers, and sometimes there's a 0. So talk about that.
So the suggestion is that whenever you have a choice, it's like sometimes you don't have a choice, but whenever you have a choice, that you choose something with a positive number, let's say a plus 500 or 600 or whatever,
Okay.
over a negative number, like say negative 500. So many people, I can say with fair confidence, a lot of milk products are going to come up as a negative for you, okay? So, but that, for some people, maybe that's a source of protein. So you need some other kind of protein. That's why I say, when you have a choice. But, and some things are kind of neutral, so that they might affect your body on let's say a certain carbohydrate. Let's say that it was a complex carbohydrate, turns out to be 0 in your body. You still need some kind of carbohydrate, but it's not affecting you, strongly one way or the other.
Right.
So if you can pick neutrals or positives, people find that it really, really helps. And just to have highlighted, oh, you're not supposed to be eating wheat. Like you've heard from every magazine and thing for the last 5 years about people talking about wheat, but there's a big minus 600 there. We've tested you and you don't do good on wheat. Yeah. And I can say again that very confidently because it happens 9%.
And yeah, and the larger the number, if it's a negative number, the larger that number is, the more it affects you in a negative way, right? And that often is a real either an eye-opener for people or a confirmation. Oh my goodness, that's why I feel so crappy when I have, whatever the item is, right?
Yeah, some people are eating a lot of foods with very high negative numbers every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you expect?
Yeah. So I'll just move down to, this is the second page, just so that people can kind of see all the different things that you're testing for there. So yeah. So that is an option for people if they are feeling like they just don't know what to eat and why they're, they feel like they're maybe doing good things and yet they're still not getting the kind of results that they're looking for. So food sensitivity can be a helpful tool for that.
Yeah.
So,
and we test all the major food categories. As a general rule, the vegetable category will have a lot of really high numbers.
Yeah.
And then the fruits are kind of interesting, like we hear fruits are good for you, but there's certain fruits that don't do well with and stuff.
And meats, generally, I noticed through the years, most people don't test real well for the red meat. Well, except buffalo. Buffalo comes up okay for some people.
Yeah, the sort of
or bison.
Yeah, the more venison or bison, it tests better. but still red meats generally. Pork has never tested well ever.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. Well, we do have a couple of people on here. I don't know if any of you have some questions that you'd like to pose to Randy before we close things down. I don't, what time have we got here? Yeah, we should start thinking about shutting things down. So if you have any questions, just open up you can unmute yourself and tell us what your thoughts are, or if you have a question. And if not, I think we might just close it down for the week. We've people are so busy now. Now that we're at home, we all have all these things that we have to do, like all the things that we never did when we were busy out of the house. Now we're doing all the stuff that we should have done years ago, cleaning out closets and picture albums and all of that kind of stuff, and renovations, that kind of thing. Okay, well, if we don't have any questions, I think I will close the meeting for today, and we'll check in again next week. And if anybody has topics or questions that they'd like answered, send them to me ahead of time, and then we can do a little prep for you and make sure that we have really good information for everybody. And in the meantime, keep yourself well, do all the good things you know you should be doing, and
Can I just say, Anne, I have to say this every time. I'm so impressed by you. Like you're supporting everyone so well, having these meetings on Mondays, and all the videos you're sending out, like you're doing such a great job.
Well, thank you.
I actually invited somebody. There was someone that signed up from England just this last week.
Oh.
And I actually invited her, and she probably would have been here, but she said, "Oh, well, I'm just giving my own meeting," and I thought it'd be fun to have somebody from England.
Yeah. I see Veronica has it looks like she's got her hand up. So Veronica, is your mic open? Can you?
Yeah, it's open. I was just, I didn't know if you noticed Connie was asking a question.
Oh, it must have come through on a chat and I didn't see it. Thank you for pointing that out. There. So Connie, are you there?
I think so, but I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yep.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah, so I put in the chat, where you put always 4 to 8 cups of warm water. I guess Cali and Fortune are included. You could drink Cali and Fortune all day and have the right amount of water in you, right?
If you were drinking enough.
Or you mean
I would say, we don't know how much Cali you're drinking. Like our recommendations are absolute minimum. So like 1 Cali per day. I don't see how you'd be getting enough liquids with 1 Cali. So when we say 4 to 6, we're just saying you need lots of liquids,
Oh, okay.
And it never hurts to drink water. Water itself has its own quality without anything else in it. It's good for you.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm learning here. So I'm actually going to sign out. You don't have to leave. I am going to sign off for the recording because I want to get you guys to help me do a little search here to figure out why I didn't see Connie's message. So anyway, we'll stop the recording here. See you all next week.
Thanks for sending that.
Yeah, no problem.